Hey guys, Scripture Brew is another video, and it's been a while, and I feel like I should talk about my girlfriend. Sydney
And I went skiing, we made a snowman, she touched my leg.
Okay, kill him!
She probably doesn't want me to do this, but, you know, it is what it is, and I have to talk about her. So there's all this stuff about her lack of box office success. I think her last 3 films didn't do well. Christy bombed, Echo Valley didn't do well as far as as I know, and Eden wasn't popular either. She was in Madam Web, which was horrible, certainly not her fault. But I wanted to talk about it because, number one, she's my girlfriend and I love her and all that, but also because I think people are not really understanding why these movies are flopping, and they're kind of jumping on the it's her fault wagon. And I would like to just say, first of all, with Christy, right, the one she's in now, about the boxer. I remember her in the 90s. She fought in an undercard on a Tyson fight. I think me and my buddies were at my buddy Pulik's house, or Pollock is his last name, Pulik's house. I can't remember whose house we were at, but we watched that. I remember her. I remember that fight. And I remember just thinking in my head how hilarious it was, because it was just like, just swinging, and she's bloodied and just and the hair and the fro, and it's going everywhere. I remember we were just kind of like laughing because, you know, the undercard, we're not really paying that much attention. We're there, we're talking, it's on in the background, we're waiting for the fight, right? The real fight, the Tyson fight. Anyway, I remember her, and so when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, oh yeah, they're doing a movie about that boxer chick that just basically got bloody every time she fought. And then it was like, oh, well, Sydney Sweeney's playing her. And I said, well, that's kind of funny. And then, because if you think about it, like, not to be mean, but the person she's portraying in that movie is not exactly like a hottie. I'm not saying that to be mean. That's just my opinion. And everyone is so used to Sydney Sweeney, you know, standing on red carpets with really nice dresses on, or doing jeans ads, and basically everybody talking about her boobs, right? That's basically, and she has that sort of glamorousness to her in the media. And she chose to play this character who is purposely not looking glamorous, right? Like, there's nothing glamorous there. And this isn't the first time she's done this. In fact, a lot of the roles she takes are roles that don't lean into her looks at all. If anything, it's the complete opposite. A lot of the time, actually, if you look at her film reel. And so I thought it was funny that people were blaming her for this movie flopping, because if she had done another movie where she's playing, like if she's in a Bond movie or something and she's the love interest of James Bond, there's no way that movie's flopping. The thing is the reality of it is I don't think a lot of people even know who this Christy person is, and I don't think a lot of people care. They don't care. It has nothing to do with her. It could have been any actor. I don't think it would have mattered. And so this idea that it's her fault, that you can't put her in films because they're not going to do well. But it's like, again, she's choosing these roles where they purposely don't market her looks. And this is something that is her agent or herself or whoever's deciding that. It has nothing to do with her as an actor. She's a pretty good actor. She's, you know, decent enough. So I just thought it was funny, but I like how she addresses it. And yeah, this is why she's my girlfriend, because of the things she says. We don't always make art for numbers. Like, it's so funny to me because she did that interview, what was it, like a week ago or whatever, with that lady, and she's trying to like coax her into like defending herself over the jeans ad, and how white people shouldn't ever say certain things or whatever. And she's just like, yeah, I don't care, basically. She's just like, yeah, whatever, dude, I don't care, whatever you say. And that kind of attitude is actually really awesome, because it's like, dude, who cares? Like, what this whole movement and this agenda, she's very much not a part of it, and I think that's good. It's a good thing. The film, directed by David Chode? Or Chode? I'm going to go with Chode. Opened at $1.3 million this weekend, making for one of the worst U.S. starts ever for a movie opening in more than 2,000 theaters. Well, like, again, Who's rushing to the theater to see a movie about this, like, boxer lady? No offense. They throw Sydney Sweeney in it. If you thought that was going to get people to the box office, watching Sydney Sweeney with 20 more pounds on her and bloodied with a curly afro, I just don't see how that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's not really the way things are going to go. Carrot Top Sydney Sweeney is not going to sell tickets. So anyways, it's she likes to make movies like that. It's just the way it is. We don't always make art for numbers. We make it for impact. She wrote on Instagram, and Christy has been the most impactful project of my life. Okay, so like for her, that's a big deal. But again, I don't see the public rushing to the theater for this. I think if this was 15 years ago and people had money, and back in those days, I mean, you went to a movie every couple weeks. At least once a month. I remember when I got married, we went to movies about that. And we could walk to the theater. It was really close to our house. It was really cool. And we used to go to movies, fairly regularly. And then the movies got worse. And then the movies started to lecture everybody. And then the economy has been tanking and inflation's been going up. And quite frankly, people just don't have enough money. I'm not going to the theater to see sort of random movies, right? It's like there's the big ones that everybody goes to, the Avengers, whatever it is, and then there's all these other ones that typically don't make any money. Everyone's trying to hit lightning in a bottle like Joker, but for the most part, none of them make money. So she's doing these movies because she wants to do them. The reality of it is she could probably do other movies. I have to assume she's probably getting offers because she's not just necessarily popular as an actress, but she's just popular as a person. People know who she is, and there's a love and a hate. There's a lot of people that just hate her. I remember when the jeans ad came out. What's that photo of that one chick and she's fingering the ad? Like it's just like so petty and like childish. But anyways, and then there's the people that really love her and dudes, obviously. So I have to assume she's getting other offers, but these are what she chooses to do because this is what she chooses to do. She probably looked into this woman and her career and what happened with her and her husband and all the other stuff and thought this would be cool. And I think she chooses roles that push her as an actress, which I also respect. It'd be easy for her to just be the bimbo, right? The side chick for some character. That's guaranteed money. Like, that's guaranteed, gonna do something good. But she typically doesn't choose that. She chooses roles that are pushing the boundaries for her, I think. And I have a lot of respect for her in a lot of different ways. In his review for The Guardian, critic Benjamin Lee said the film just isn't nearly good enough. A by-the-numbers slog that fails to prove Sweeney's status as the one to watch. Yeah, and I mean, in some ways, that's actually kind of sad because of her image and looks and the way she's portrayed in the media, and she's contributed to that too. It is harder to take her as a serious actor to the point where you would want to see her portray this character that doesn't look hot. Does that make sense? So she's kind of, put herself in that situation too. And hey, that's her decision. Again, I respect it. I'm not saying it's necessarily the smartest way to go if you're trying to create a box office bonanza, but whatever, that's your decision. I'm not here to tell you what to do. As she has in promotion of the film, Sweeney highlighted its handling of domestic violence in her Instagram post. This film stands for survival, courage, and hope. Though our campaigns, we've helped raise awareness for so many affected by domestic violence, we all signed on to the film with the belief that Christy's story could save lives. Okay, and this is very normal. A lot of actresses have done this. One that comes to my mind is, Jennifer. It is Jennifer Lopez. Dude, I'm getting old. Can't remember anything. But anyways, she did the movie Enough, right? Which is all about that. I mean, and there's been other actresses as well. That's a pretty normal thing, and they feel like they want to help sort of show what they go through and how you can succeed anyway. Thank you to everyone who saw, felt, and believed and will believe in this story for years to come. If Christy gave even one woman the courage to take her first step towards safety, then we will have succeeded. Yeah, I mean, and there you go. Christy was the first theatrical release from Black Bear, an indie company which also produced the film for $15 million and sold its international distribution rights. So this isn't a movie that's going to have to make a lot of money. Ultimately, it's not going to end up losing money. By the time it goes on to streaming and by the time, it's up for rent or whatever, it'll make that. That's a pretty small amount of money. It'll probably do, I don't know, 5 or 10 just in the box office, but that right there just tells you, like, this is somebody has multi-million-dollar ad campaigns, super duper famous, and decides to do an indie film that's only got a $15 million budget for a brand new company. So, I mean, you gotta respect it, right? Like, and again, it's not, if she wanted to just do movies that did really well at the box office, or that, like, you would know ahead of time are gonna do really good at the box office, like I said, she could play the bimbo, she could play whatever, but I think she's a little deeper than that as a human being, which is pretty cool. It's the latest in a tough year at the box office for Sweeney, a breakout star from HBO dramas Euphoria and White Lotus, both Eden and survival thriller in which Sweeney co-starred with Ana de Armas and Vanessa Kirby, and Americana, a drama co-starring Paul Walter Hauser, fizzled at the box office. Okay, well, and that's part of it too, right? Like, it's not as if this is just her, right? Like, look at the actors in this movie. She's, if anything, she's the low end of the totem pole in terms of these actors, in terms of their box office draw, right? Like Jude Law, right? Ana de Armas, Kirby. Yeah, okay, she's down. But, like, these are huge actors. Like, Jude Law is huge. So, I mean, it's not as if you could say, well, it's her fault. But that's kind of how the media spins stuff, which is pretty stupid because it doesn't really make sense. Because, again, these movies are full of huge actors that are bigger than her. Now, they've got her on the poster really big. And, this one, she's definitely the main star. She's not the main star of Eden, though. Fair enough. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. I literally hadn't even heard about this movie. And I'm dating her, and she didn't even tell me. So I don't understand what's going on there. I'll have to talk to her about that. Kind of embarrassing myself here on my channel, and she's not giving me the proper information. It's also the latest example of adult-oriented drama struggling to connect with theatrical audiences, like Christy, the psychodrama Die My Love starring Robert Pattinson and Jennifer Lawrence, as well as Bruce Springsteen biopic Deliver Me From Nowhere, and another box office drama, The Rock's Smashing Machine, all garnered praise along the festival circuit, but disappointed. Well, yeah, I mean, you're talking about, again, these are movies with pretty huge people involved, and they're still not doing any good. And again, it's because people can't afford it. They can't afford it. You know what's going through people's minds right now? They're sitting there saying, I'm going to go to 2 movies this year, and one of them's going to be in May, and it's going to be Avengers. That's like in 2026. That's how people are thinking. They're like, I can only afford to do it twice, so I'm going to decide which ones I'm going to go to. There's not a lot of people that are just going to movies on a regular basis like we used to. It's just too expensive. It's too expensive, and people don't have as much disposable income. I mean, holy crap, I'm paying like 40% more for food than I was like 2 years ago. Like, our food budget is like through the roof. And I got 3 kids. Like, the price of beef has like tripled in like 2 years. Like, what do you want me to do, man? I can't afford to go to the movies. Sweeney, who led romantic comedy Anyone But You to a $220 million worldwide gross, will next appear along Amanda Seyfried and Brandon Sklenar in The Housemaid, directed by Paul Feig. The psychological thriller based on the 2022 novel by Frida McFadden will appear in the U.S. So again, this happens. They get these big blockbusters, but it's like, it's few and far between. And it's not just her, like we already looked at. There's some huge actors and other stuff she's even been in, and it just doesn't make any money because people don't have money, and the movies are lectures now, and people don't want to be lectured. Even if this Christy movie isn't a lecture, even if it's just a genuine, true story about what happened, and it's non-lecturing, it just is what it is, which is probably the case, knowing Sydney. She doesn't typically get involved with stuff like that. That's just lecturing people. Even then, you don't know, right, until you see it, and people are like, well, do I want to take the risk? I don't want to sit here and be told I'm a piece of crap because I'm a white guy, or whatever the agenda is, even though that might not be the case in that film. We just don't know. And so it's like, am I going to spend $50 for a ticket and a popcorn and pop when I could just, rent a movie for $3.99 or watch something for free? or watch something on a streaming service I'm already paying $20 a month for, right? So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But anyways, all that to say, I don't blame her. It's not her fault. If anything, I respect her, the fact that she's willing to do these types of roles. I think she's really trying to be a good actress, and she's really trying to move away from, and she's always been this way. She's never tried to be, known as the blonde bombshell chick. It's just, that's just the way it is. When you're built like that and you're walking red carpets, that's just how people are going to perceive you. But on an acting level, she's always trying to do these things that are very counter to that image, which again, I respect that. She's trying to be a real actor, not just like something to look at, right? Not just an object, which is good. That's what you want. So anyways, guys, that's just the way it is. You let me know in the comment section. Can you afford to see movies like this? Can anybody? Does anybody want to? Do you want to see Sydney Sweeney looking like Carrot Top in a movie? I don't know. Maybe it's really good. Maybe the acting's awesome, but are you going to take the risk that you might get lectured? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.